Summer Showdown in Alberta. Welcome to NSL Soccer, presented by BMO, the official bank of the Northern Super League. The Calgary Wild host the Ottawa Rapid at McMahon Stadium this Saturday afternoon. With you today, I'm Daniela Ponticelli alongside Jessica Lisi, former Canadian Youth International. This is the third meeting between these clubs. Ottawa looking to rebound off a 3-0 loss to Toronto 10 days ago. Jess, this is a team that has got to get back to scoring. They have the depth to do it.
Absolutely, and Friedland is a perfect example of that. It's exciting to see her get this start. She's crafty and creative, and she has that ability to ignite their attack and provide the variety that we've seen in their attack so far that has brought them so much success. You're seeing here the last time these teams met, she was able to get the assist on Pridham's goal that really started that 3-1 victory that they were able to come away with. Just overall a very exciting player, and I'm pumped to see what she can bring to this side today.
And Friedland is getting her fourth start of the season among Ottawa's starting 11 today. Notably, Melissa Dagenet from Montreal is in as keeper. It'll be her third start this season, her first against Calgary. The team has stated that Molly Erickson is unavailable. Not the only change, of course, also seeing some up top as well.
Yeah, I think, I just mentioned Friedland, but also Belzile's getting her moment to step up there. We know the impact that Pridham has. She's been instrumental for them. And another player that I think is going to be key for them today is Desiree Scott, somebody who's a leader in that midfield, helps them provide that structure, breaks up a lot of play for them defensively, but is also a key player in being an outlet for them in the attack.
And she's going to want to get them back in the win column today. We caught up with Scott earlier, pitch side. Desi, it was a tough loss to Toronto last week, almost uncharacteristic of Ottawa the way your team played. So as a leader for your team, what's your message to the group today?
Yeah, I think you're as strong as the next game that's coming up. Obviously, the Toronto match was very disappointing, not us and who we want to be on the pitch. I think everybody knew that, and we want to come into this game showing who the Ottawa Rapid is, and we've got to come out firing and demonstrate that with our play.
Yeah, and in that vein, your head coach, Katrine Peterson, told us not enough players played to their level. There was visible frustration. So what has been the focus then this week to prepare specifically for Calgary?
Yeah, I think what happened in that game was that we weren't doing the simple things well, and that has been the focus this week is we've got to simplify it, make our passes, connect our passes. Our pressure has to be done well, and if we do those little things well, then we can start playing our brand of soccer and build that confidence through the match.
Thank you so much, Desi. Good luck today.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, Calgary is coming off a home win 1 week ago. Micah Rolfsma getting her first assist on this goal.
This is a player that you don't speak too much about as a center back. You typically talk about your forwards, but she is a player that has such a great IQ. And when she wasn't on the pitch, this team missed her. And that's something that Coach Bedford mentioned to us as well when we spoke with her. She has this innate confidence to play into the midfield, into their feet, and start that attack. But she also has the ability to send those long balls, as you saw on that assist that she played to Thurton for Thurton's first ever NSL goal. So definitely a key player for them, and has to come up big today to be able to hold that back line together.
Well, you mentioned it, Rolfsma having to deal with some injury. She was actually out when Calgary last met Ottawa. She's among today's starting 11 for the Wild. Goalkeeper Stephanie Bukovic with her 10th start in goal now for all of Calgary's wins so far. Still looking for her first against Ottawa here.
These are two teams, Daniela, that love to play a possession style of soccer, and that's why these three midfielders between Robertson, Savitsky, and Doherty Howard are going to be huge for them. They have to be able to find their feet and allow them to make that build-up happen. As far as Sarita Thurton, she is a player that obviously got her first NSL goal. She's been so great for them this entire season, so I'm sure she's coming off of that confidence boost that was needed. So I'm pumped to see what she can bring to the pitch today.
Well, she has played in every match for Calgary, starting in all but one so far. The team's newest goal scorer joined us before the match. Sarita, congratulations, your first NSL goal last week. Your coach, Lydia Bedford, told us she noticed a change in your body language at practice this week. How much of a confidence boost is it to have that first one?
Oh, it was everything. I think, honestly, more than anything, it was a bit of relief. I think I put a lot of pressure on myself to score. I mean, as a forward, you want to be able to contribute in that way. And I think I was getting a bit antsy with wanting to score a goal. But I think after that, honestly, maybe it was a little bit of confidence. I think it was honestly a bit more of a weight off of my shoulders, and I play a bit more freely. So, yeah, hopefully I can keep that going.
Well, as for today, your team, of course, looking for its first win against Ottawa. How crucial is a quick start today against the Rapid?
Oh, I think it's so important. I think last time we played them, after that big injury, I think they were able to capitalize and get on us really quickly. So I think if we're able to get on them from the beginning, we can kind of take away some of that pressure and build a little bit of confidence for ourselves, but also take the game away from them as well.
Well, thank you so much, Sarita. All the best today.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
The teams are taking the pitch. An energized Calgary club meeting a determined Ottawa team when we return kickoff at McMahon Stadium in the first match of a doubleheader Saturday in the Northern Super League. Back to McMahon Stadium in Calgary. This is NSL Soccer presented by BMO, the official bank of the Northern Super League. We're just moments away from kickoff. Daniela Ponticelli alongside Jessica Lisi, former youth international. And you know it, these two teams are both coming in with determined motivation. They want to get back in the win column. If you're Ottawa, for Calgary, my goodness, a big win over Vancouver exactly 1 week ago.
Yeah, I think both of these teams are coming into this with needing a very strong mentality. Calgary has to be able to take that win, take that confidence, and bring it into this game against a very organized Ottawa side. And Ottawa had a tough outing against Toronto. You saw the visible frustration on their faces. They weren't able to play the style that we've seen them play and do the simple things right, as Desiree Scott said it. So I think both of them today have to come into this with the right mentality, driven from that very first moment, and be able to control it early, because they both love to play that easy style, that possession style of soccer.
Mina Lee at center, and Ottawa with first possession. Ottawa in their away kits, wearing white. It's the home kit for Calgary in purple with red accents. Now, Calgary weather has been a story. There's head coach Lydia Bedford, who said that they were practicing in torrential rain this week and said she kind of prefers it to the heat, but it's a good thing the storms rolled through last night. It is sunny. It is windy, though, at McMahon Stadium, gusting up to about 42 kilometers coming out of the northwest, so could potentially be a factor in this game. But good news, it is dry right now in the stands and on the field. Michaela Moore, of course, a veteran defender and a steady presence for Calgary, a team that has been plagued by injury. It has been the narrative, and it's been tough for this team. They are playing with a shortened bench. They'll have one of their top scorers in Kali Johnson seated there alongside Danielle Steer, but neither will be taking the pitch this match. Vukovic was not in goal the last time these teams faced one another. That was back at TD Place last month. In fact, it was keeper Jackie Burns. A tough collision with Allie Green. Allie Green, who is finally back, feeling much better after that international window, seemingly beneficial there.
You're seeing here, Daniela, the confidence that Ottawa is bringing into this early into the match. This is when they play their best soccer.
Well, they're finding their way in, and shot toward Bukovic, scooped up, but great early threats.
One thing that they weren't able to do against Toronto was find Pridham and put her in dangerous areas and put their other forwards in dangerous areas to score goals or create dangerous opportunities. So seeing them start front-footed early is exactly what they need, and that's going to be and that's going to be key for them to find success today and potentially walk away with a similar result that they had last time.
I expect to see the league's leading goal scorer, DB Pridham, wearing 22 in white. He'll be all over the penalty area, in the goal area, just buzzing around. A player, by the way, who has not been without a goal in back-to-back matches, and given that the team was shut out last time, you can tell she'll be hungry for more as Calgary comes in. The Wild. Captain Doherty Howard with the feed. A good block in close. Doherty Howard seemingly tripped up. She goes down. Play on Mina Lee. Gets it to the far side. Now Pridham. The attack continues here for the home side. She's looking for a cutback. Kept out. Desi Scott holding it down there for Ottawa.
Sorry, Daniela, that final pass doesn't come off, but Doherty Howard, you're seeing how instrumental she is in the attack for them as well as defensively. She's a player that loves to find the ball, and she makes things happen when she does, and you can see that through her little combination play, through her movement of picking that spot a little higher up, floating in between the areas that she needs to be. You see her here checking her shoulder, trying to get on the ball. She gets on it. She's able to play, and that calm, cool, collected spirit that she has, but she brings that determination on both sides of the ball, and she's a really exciting player to watch.
Moore in control to Rolfsma. Nice through pass. Gets it up. Ottawa working out of their own half here. Looking back, Friedland to Lee. Ottawa, a team they say plays with purposeful possession. You could say similarly, though, for Calgary as Storty comes in, tries to take it away.
One thing Ottawa has always wanted is to be able to be purposeful in the possession, as you mentioned. So you need that balance of patience and front-footedness. And so it's a matter of picking your moments of when to go forward or when to keep it and just manipulate and move your opponent out of the areas that you want to get into. So you're seeing Calgary here doing a good job at picking their moments of when to press, and Ottawa looking around but having not very many options if there's not great movement off the ball.
Calgary has it now. Moore finds Doherty Howard. There was the captain that had the game winner exactly a week ago. Beautiful set piece from the corner.
It's quite a game winner, that is for sure.
Great energetic start here in Calgary. The ball goes past the end line. Ottawa's manager, Katrine Peterson, said her team did not play to the level that they were at, and that's just got to be disappointing, right? It's one thing to lose and you knew you were doing your best. Ottawa has come away with points in both meetings so far this season against Calgary. It was a shutout draw for either side, no goals the last time they met at McMahon Stadium. And then that 3-1 win in Ottawa. In fact, it has been home field advantage for both sides, each with 3 home wins. Calgary defending. Good clear.
You're seeing that determination and how bad Ottawa wants to get on the goal early. You know, you're playing that quick that quick throw in into the box. Pridham's able to get on it, get across in the box. They cannot give her time and space. Calgary has to be able to dictate the play today if they want to find success. They can't allow Ottawa to get comfortable, build confidence, and find the feet of a Pridham, specifically in and around that 18-yard box.
Throw in for Calgary. And there'll be another. Grace Storty. Talk about players stepping up when there has been shortened benches and playing very meaningful minutes. You're going to see that from the likes of Storty. Powerful player, dynamic. Takes the ball back right away.
She had a great showing as well in the last matchup versus Vancouver in dealing with Holly Ward and the threat that she provides for Vancouver. She's also going to be key today in getting forward, specifically in those transitional moments and providing that overload. We know that Ottawa loves to build with that back three, so finding the wide areas in those transitional moments will also be somewhere that Calgary can get on top of Ottawa for.
Ball is off Thurton. A throw in here from Kayla Adamick. At the start today did not start in Ottawa's last match. And both these teams should be well rested. Calgary, of course, having a chance to play at home a week ago, but it's been 10 days between matches for Ottawa. It's not always the case, of course. Foot race. Trying to get in on it now. Olivia Scott battling for Ottawa.
It's a great effort by Wilson to get there and put that battle up.
Madison Wilson, a player that hasn't had too many starts, but now a chance is DB Pridham. Looks in, what options does she have? Had Belzile off the body. Moore tries to save it. Keep it in play. She's arguing her case.
Seen another look at it here. That goes right through the legs of Rolsema, and you know that a player like Pridham is ready to pounce at all times. She's aware of her surroundings. She wants the ball at all times. She finds Belzile here and cuts that back, and Rolsema is able to get in front of that and not allow that shot on goal.
First NSL start for Belzile, who's played 6 games coming into this one. 131 minutes. First corner for Ottawa. Calgary gets it out of the 18. Still dangerous here. Rapid trying to continue their attack. From distance this time.
This is a great ball across. Again, once again, giving them an opportunity to potentially get on this, but Friedland showing her quality, and Pridham's not quite able to get her head on that, but she puts her body on the line. She attempts to do it, and that's why she's so great at putting the ball in the back of the net. She does anything to get it there, but overall, you're seeing the hunger from Ottawa and getting and winning those second balls and putting them back into the box and giving Calgary a bit of a hard time.
Hunger was exactly the word used by Katrine Peterson to describe Pridham. Just so hungry once more all the time. But here comes Calgary looking for their first lead over Ottawa. Thurton, fresh off that first goal. Tries to play it across, was looking for the header there. It would have been Maddie Wilson. Check that, Christy Gray was poised for it.
You see it here. Thurton does well to occupy that space out wide. She looks up. She recognizes that there's some numbers in the box, but she overhits that slightly, doesn't give her teammate much of a chance to be able to get on that and redirect it. The runs could have been timed a little better, but in that aspect where they're already in the box, that ball and that delivery, that decision has to be cleaner.
When these clubs first met at McMahon Stadium back in May, Calgary did not get a single shot on target. Of course, a lot of growth since then, where that was looking back at week 4, now in week 14.
We also spoke about the hunger and the confidence that we know that Sarita Thurton is having coming off scoring her first ever goal. I think she could have potentially just gone at her there.
Harris gets the ball up to Belzile once more. Moore reads that well.
Ottawa continuing to occupy those spaces and play those through balls. This is a great delivery through. Belzile times her run. Moore comes across. There isn't a cross that's able to get into the box, but they are able to win this corner kick, which is a great opportunity. Set pieces have been a huge part of a lot of these teams' successes this season so far.
Michaela Moore with her 11th start. She's played in all but one match for Calgary. Another corner for Ottawa. This one looking to be delivered by Friedland. Across the face of the goal. It's off the leg of the Wild. The back in, another potential threat. They score! Ottawa with the goal.
This is exactly the hunger we were talking about. We saw it on the first time that they had the delivery off of a corner kick. Harris does a good job at getting that in. You're seeing the hunger from Olivia Scott to get there and keep it in the box. And Belzile makes no mistake to put that in the back of the net. The hunger, the tenacity, this is what you need. Calgary needs to be better defensively there in and around the 18. You cannot give that much time and space to this Ottawa team.
First NSL goal for Florence Belzile. And a big one in the 14th minute here. With the Rapid up 1-0 over Calgary on the road. Talk about making your starts count, as mentioned at the top, first start in the league as well. 7th match for the 22-year-old out of Montreal.
This is the position you want to be in as well, Daniela. This is exactly it. You want to start off strong. You want to be able to be in the lead and have this team chasing you, because you build that confidence, you gain that momentum, and you continue to go forward. And we've seen what Ottawa can do this season through their variety in attack and the threat that they pose through not only individual talents, but as a unit, and the fluidity that they've been able to bring from game to game. So it's definitely a great moment for them, and this Coach Peterson is definitely going to be happy that they got on the board so early.
Belzile getting right back to work, although turnover now Calgary. Maggie Doherty-Howard looking for the Wild's first equalizer against the Rapid. It has been Ottawa that has held the lead over Calgary in previous meetings. Of course, small sample size early in this inaugural season.
Desi Scott doing well to deter that pressure and break out of it.
Mina Lee puts it up. A lofty pass. It reached Adamick though, and that one off the boot. It'll be a throw in for Storty. Some words from the coach on the Ottawa sideline. It's off of Thurton. Talk about pace too. It felt as though, Jess, that it was non-stop really until that goal by Florence Belzile.
There's a lot of back and forth. We know the quality that both these teams have, but it's a matter of being purposeful and who can get that goal first, and we're seeing Ottawa come out on the better end of that. Now Calgary has to chase, but there's so much time for them to get back into this. I still think it's been a pretty evenly match so far, I would say. It's been pretty evenly matched up. So there's still a lot of time, Daniela, but I do think that Ottawa is quite happy with that lead. They're also a team that does very well when they're out of possession. They're extremely organized, as you see. That was one thing that let them down versus Toronto, so they're definitely not going to let that happen again here.
Storty keeps the ball, gets it back. Thurton trying to find a way through. Desi Scott with control. Just dancing around the edge of the penalty area right now. Ottawa puts it back into Calgary's half.
It's a good idea by Mina to notice that Friedland's up there. She is up there alone, so the delivery has to better the quality of the pass, but you're also seeing how active Pridham is coming off the front. She's somebody that has to be aware of the impact that she has, in the sense of teams are aware of her. They're going to keep an eye on her. Her movement off the ball is going to be huge in freeing up her teammates, and you saw that there. She always brings someone with her. You're not going to leave her unmarked, and if you do, she's going to hurt you.
Thurton finds Doherty Howard. It'll be off of Calgary, much to the dismay of Adamick. Very animated. Doherty Howard trying to set up her team and build the attack. Ottawa takes it back. Right as I say that, another turnover nearly. Just coming into this match, you expected that things might be quite even if you just look at the greater stats and the fact that these two teams right in the middle of the standings, they're tied in points, but it's more than that. They're often second and third in goals for, and the same thing for goals conceded. Very close, very even.
They play a very similar style. They love to possess the ball and be dominant in the opponent's half, but also organized defensively. So they're both very exciting teams to watch, and I think that when they're playing against each other, it could be anyone's game. I know Ottawa has come up both times. Well, the first time they tied, but the second time they really came away with that win, with the 3-1 win. You're seeing possession here, Calgary with 50.9 and Ottawa with 49.1. It's even. That tells the tale that we're watching.
Thurton is down.
You're seeing here the ball hit Thurton straight in the face. Probably just needs a minute to recollect herself. That's never fun.
Yeah. Here's Jaleesa Harris. Ottawa having a word with Scott. As well take a moment there along the sidelines. And haven't had much chance to talk about, of course, Melissa Dagenet in goal, but we'll take another look there at the ball just bouncing almost full force, right? Deflected up, hits Thurton, shakes it off.
Sometimes you just need a moment after those. They're never fun. But she's definitely a trooper, and she's up and ready to go.
Melissa Dagenet from Montreal, 24 years old, just her third start in the NSL as keeper. Molly Erickson not on the bench either for Ottawa, by the way. Instead, Charlotte Murray Martin, a youth development player, is on the bench watching. Is a keeper, second keeper for Ottawa. Now the Rapid looking for their second goal. There's the whistle. They were up 2-0 over Calgary in their last meeting, a match that ended 3-1. Calgary facing immediate pressure.
Seen Holland step up there and not allow any time or space to turn and face forward.
Crowd is always getting into it with their chants at the Nest, as it's called, on Calgary Wild match days. Rolfsma and keep Pridham at bay. Pridham up this time now. Friedland. Jackie Savitsky where she needed to be for the block.
That's twice now that Rolfsma's had a bit of a mishap happen where Pridham was able to pounce on it and create something out of it. So this has to be cleaned up from her. It has to be better. You see here Friedland able to get on this ball and attempts to get the cross in, and that's something that Coach Peterson mentioned. She wants balls in the box, great delivery, and numbers forward, and they're able to get a corner kick out of this.
Yeah, third set piece here for Ottawa, looking for the header. DB Pridham! The scoring sensation, now first to 10 goals in the Northern Super League. She makes this a 2-0 match for the Rapid, and you bet she's got a great celebration for this one.
Who else, right, Daniela? Who else would it be to get that second goal on the board for Ottawa? This is a great ball in. Phenomenal timing by Pridham, and she puts her head down and goes right through that. She times it perfectly. You can see her run there. She gets up. She has nobody in her way, and she puts that into the corner like the pro that she is. We've seen her do it time and time again. A very dangerous player. You cannot leave her unmarked, whether that's in the run of play or on set pieces.
She has never gone more than one game without a goal. She didn't have one last match, so here she is in Calgary, getting Ottawa's second in the first half. Definitely not the start the Wild want. It's a deja vu from what happened at TD Place last month. You had to think Ottawa was going to come out strong. They knew they needed that, having been shut out. It was their first shutout loss, by the way. In club history, they had a shutout against Calgary, but it was a draw. You have to think that stings, especially when you have threats like Pridham on the field. Foul there as Mina Lee went down. In the 25th minute. And Pridham has the ball, and we asked Calgary's manager Lydia Bedford about the plan for Pridham. You'd have to imagine teams might have one, and she said, I don't worry about one player, it's about keeping the ball in a controlled place so that there's no opportunity for Pridham to get it. And that just hasn't been. It's difficult when you're given as well, when you're given corners. It's 3 corners to none so far, Ottawa over Calgary.
Absolutely, and you have to shut down set pieces. But to your point, I don't think that Calgary's done a well enough job in shutting down Ottawa's attack to not find Pridham. And it's not just Pridham. There are so many players that are capable of providing that attack, but you're seeing here she has too much time and space even. She makes a poor decision there, but if that comes off, you're seeing the numbers below her, and they're able to get forward and create something dangerous.
Doherty Howard plays the ball forward, looking for Wilson up along the left flank. An opportunity here for Calgary. In the Ottawa half, a throw in. Christy Gray back to the touchline. Doherty Howard working it in. An easy track there for Melissa Dagenet. Really her first big test of the match.
We also mentioned, these teams are coming into this with a big mentality battle. And in the sense of 2 goals looks like a very comfortable lead. And I say this every single time. Ashley Docking argues with me every time. She doesn't agree that 2-0 is the worst lead to have, but it's something that you become comfortable in, and you have that confidence, but at times you back off a little bit because it's 2 goals. You have the lead. You feel comfortable.
It's a very humbling
Absolutely.
number because all it takes is the opposing team's 1 goal, and suddenly half of that glorious lead is gone. So I think
exactly.
I get where you're coming from, Jess.
I've just had coaches drill that into my head. I've been in the position where you have a comfortable 2-goal lead, and all of a sudden now it's 2-2, and you're thinking, where the heck did that come from? So Ottawa has to be able to upkeep that confidence and that momentum, But now Calgary has to come into this and continue to realize, hey, this is not over. Although it is 2-0, there's a lot of time. We still have to play our game. We have to make the most of our opportunities.
Still plenty of time, but watch out. As Ottawa threatening once more. Friedland managing that well, but it's up, and Vukovic takes it back. Or kick. Blocked out front, but the whistle.
You're seeing Pridham again pulling the string. She's coming off the front. She recognizes that Olivia Scott is running forward. She plays that great long diagonal ball to her. She gets a cross in. A bit of mix-up in the box. Friedland not able to get and connect with that as well as she would have liked. But that's what Ottawa needs to continue doing, continue creating those chances. And from Calgary's standpoint, again, they have to do a much better job at not allowing so much time and space to this dangerous Ottawa attack.
Vukovic coming out. Sends it out of the touchline there. It was only a few minutes ago where possession was essentially 50-50. Feels like it's tilting slightly now in favor of Ottawa. There's a confident team. And there it is, 62% to 37. And shots on target, as mentioned. Already had 3, now coming in, looking for another. Allie Green sends it out. I mean, what an important defender for Calgary.
Harris is somebody that has proven to be able to send this diagonal ball and how important they've been. Friedland does well to stay on side here. Some good defending by Green to not allow this across. We're already seeing the impact that Friedland makes.
Back in the box, just out of it now is Adamick finds Harris. Sends it back in, it's headed out. Storty. Harris once more. Ottawa playing very organized. Florence Belzile already with a goal. Keeps it, sends it up. It's headed there by Michaela Moore. Ottawa certainly not wasting any time they get. Mina Lee now to Harris. Left to go up 3 here. Lee. Looking for a little give and go there. Sent back, Harris once more. Puts it up. Allie Green. Getting down the edge of the box there. Vukovic just taking a moment to breathe, it feels like. Wants to get that ball far away. Hoping to send it back. Now you're watching NSL Soccer presented by BMO, the official bank of the Northern Super League. It is a 2-0 lead for Ottawa in the first half. Over Calgary, the home side. Storty takes control, working it up, drops it for Thurton. It's just outside the touchline.
Ottawa seeming to be a lot more purposeful with the possession that they have. You're seeing here these little touches need to be cleaner from Calgary. It's those things that are going to let you down if you can't quite clean them up.
Storty just assessing. It is a warm day in Calgary, having around 19 degrees Celsius. Looks like she may have been clipped there. You know, in summer heat that we've seen in some other matches where it was nearing 30 degrees Celsius, of course, cramps and heat can play a factor. Micah Rolfsma for Calgary. It's a Wild squad that has been fairly streaky in this season. They were the first to have 4 straight wins, and then they had a 3-game skid, and mentally it's important to keep track of, but Pridham working the ball up, sends it over to Friedland. Perhaps too far. Build this attack. In with speed now is Liv Scott.
We focus on that ball that Pridham plays across. It's a great ball. It's great recognition by her, but it's that run by Mina, which is also huge. She takes defenders away with her, which allows Pridham to find Friedland on the opposite side. You're also seeing some combination play here. Scott getting forward and providing some overloads, leaving Calgary no choice but to just deflect that out of bounds for another corner kick.
A header that goes over the crossbar. Imagine Calgary breathing a little sigh of relief there.
This is another great delivery in, and Liv Scott does well to be able to get there. She's not quite able to keep it down to get it on frame. More of a defensive style header than an offensive one. But Ottawa continues to be first to those balls, and they continue to win the second balls as well on clearances. So this is where Calgary needs to pick it up. They need to be able to shut down all the offensive threats that Ottawa is providing right now, giving them too much time and space, specifically in and around that 18-yard box, and they need to win those 1v1 battles.
It has been tough for the Wild side here. 4 corners for Ottawa to none so far for Calgary in this first half. They have to get to work. Stordy trying to drive it up the right side. Down she goes, or down goes Adamick rather.
We've seen another look at it here. Stordy continuing to drive forward. A bit of a shove there to the back of Adamick. Adamick did not like that. But that is the physicality that you know Stordy brings, and she's very tenacious. She continues to drive forward and bring that mentality that you want defensively.
Calgary holds it in the Ottawa half. So far for the Wild, just 1 shot on target. Of course, Ottawa's been quite efficient with the score on their 3 shots on target so far.
Good footwork by Doherty Howard.
Savitsky gets it across now. Christy Gray! What a save, Dagenet. Must have heard us talking about those shots on target. She put it right there, but Dagenet meets the moment.
This is a great save, but this is also great build-up by Calgary to get this shot off. Christy Gray looks up, takes a shot, but wow, did Dagenet come up big for Ottawa to be able to keep this as a 2-0 game.
Rapid keep it in play. Wild in their own half. Moore passes it up for Stordy. Quick cross, Doherty Howard. Calgary looking to create space. Doherty Howard. Back around and now in. Thurton couldn't get her boot on it. He'll press once more. Desi Scott with a swift defensive header.
you're hearing the encouragement from the Calgary bench to go forward and have that front-footed approach, take the space that's given to you, because there is quite a bit of it, and you see what happens when they do take it. Doherty Howard continuing to get on the ball and find those spaces, make things happen.
Doherty send it across. Rolfsma back up Thurton. We've seen those two connect on this very pitch last week.
You're seeing a bit of skill here from Doherty Howard. She gets on this, and she's able to evade the pressure that's coming her way by Gibson. Plays it outside. Robertson's looking around. Who can I play to? And Doherty Howard once again gets into a position to get back on that ball and try to create something for her team.
Thurton has Savitsky now. Calgary seemingly building here. That one out on the far side.
We know how solid both Gibson and Scott are in their defensive roles and keeping that structure. But Calgary's doing a good job right now, I would say in this last couple minutes, at being able to move them out of their positioning and get numbers forward and be able to create some opportunities out of it.
Nice feed from Lee. Moore is able to get ahead of it. Very dangerous opportunity there for the Rapid once more. Jaleesa Harris. "25 years old from Hazlitt, New Jersey. He played, of course, in all matches so far for the Rapid. Big collision there as down goes Pridham and Moore.
Seeing some good sportsmanship, both two very good competitors who are not going to let the other get to that ball first.
So far, 6 shots on target for Ottawa, 2 for Calgary. Or check that, 1 shot on target, 2 overall for the Wild. You know, Ottawa's a team that can certainly get shot volume. Florence Belzile. It's the through pass to Mina Lee. Lee coming in on the right flank. Kept out there, Rolfsma able to stay with her.
Ottawa's doing well at repossessing and catching Calgary in these transitional moments. Mina getting forward. You see that ball get played out to her. Pridham was ready inside the box, attempting to time for any delivery that was coming her way. Rolfsma has had her work cut out for her already within these first 40, I would say. So this is definitely going to have to be a big matchup for these center backs between Moore and Rolfsma. They have to step up and not allow these balls to get into the box and shut down these 1v1 opportunities.
And yet another corner now for the Rapid. It's in, it's up. Pridham got a touch off a header there, but not quite what she needed. Player never satisfied with her own performance, according to her head coach. Calls her demanding, but then said that's a compliment. Demanding, she just wants more of herself, of her team.
You want players like that on your team. You want them to demand more from the players around them, especially when she holds that standard, and we see what she's able to do on and off the ball, on both sides of the ball. So it's definitely a compliment to Pridham to be called demanding.
In comes Adamick, and Moore once more. Moore able to use good reach there. 5-6. Harris will take this throw here.
Ottawa, no rush.
Doherty gets a header, and it's a good moment there for Maggie Doherty Howard. Ottawa once more finds himself. This time Lee coming up from the left. Moore with a good clear. You have to think we're approaching halftime here, Jess. What the message will be in the locker room for the Wild, given how the possession has absolutely shifted from the first quarter of this game to now. Ottawa in control. Harris puts it back in the box. Referee Carly Shaw McLaren, a player down for Calgary. Not a sight for the Wild side. I mean, nobody wants to see injured players, but Calgary, of course, it's been the story of the first third of their season.
They've definitely taken quite a few hits to their back line. Rolfsma's back in the mix now. Green, the last time these two teams met, had a terrible collision with Burns and wasn't able to continue. So hopefully Storty is all right. She has played a big role for them this season. You're going to see the collision here. Looks like she gets Harris's knee straight to her ribs.
While coming in as well with her own force. So it's understandable. Calgary native Grace Storty, so dynamic. It's her match IQ, it's her institutional knowledge, as they like to call it, the fact that she has been with this Wild squad through every single match so far, and it's not over yet. Of course, she's being assessed. At this time, players just taking a breather. As we're nearing halftime, of course, there will be stoppage time now.
They're also a team that has found a lot of success coming down this right flank between Storty and Thurton. So she's played such a massive role in providing that overload, but also being the one getting the delivery into the box. So definitely a pivotal player for them. She's played a huge role in them and the success that they've found so far.
And it's also the giant question mark of if Storty can't return to the pitch today, who will be taking her place.
Coach Bedford has spoken publicly about how, they don't have enough depth. Wow, sometimes words are hard, Daniela. This is not coming across the way I was trying. But that depth is important, and it's in these moments, and they've struggled so much. They've already had so many injuries. It's not easy to just throw someone into that role. We've seen Gray have to drop back into a fullback role. She's a forward. We're seeing her start in that number 9 role today. Steer's not available, so Gray's in the middle. Wilson's being pushed up to that left flank. There are so many players that are playing in different positions that are being forced to step up, which is great that you have the ability to do so. But it definitely helps to have that depth and put players in positions where they're comfortable to help you be competitive.
There will be 4 minutes of added time once we get to that point. Grace Storty being assessed at this time. She appeared to take a knee right into her rib cage there. You can see she's holding on to it on her right side. Desi Scott with the pass to Jaleesa Harris, who just goes all in. Down goes Storty as she was trying to challenge for the ball. It'll be a yellow card actually as well for Storty, given that she came in and Adding a little insult to injury there. Storty picking up her 3rd yellow card of the season. Just trying to stretch it out.
It's their free kick.
Calgary needs to bring it now. They're in those final minutes. Obviously, just a little bit of stoppage time is going to be added. But heading into that second half, they have to come out and want to win that half. You know that Ottawa is a team that's not going to back down. So it's definitely going to be key for them to hold that intensity.
Now we have a kick here for Harris. Usually entering stoppage time. Friedland trying to chase it down. On the other side, she comes in with the throw-in.
Ladies, again,
Olivia
we're seated
Scott.
on the bench, please.
We're back. Scott finds Pridham. She watches it go past. She's looking for Belzile. Those two have been the goal scorers so far. Belzile opening things in the 14th minute of the match. It's followed up by DB Pridham.
Coach Peterson mentioned that one of the keys to today and her side finding success was getting those balls into the box, and we've seen them do it time and time again. Set pieces aside, goals aside, there's been many opportunities where Ottawa has gotten that ball into the box and has created something dangerous, just hasn't been able to finish it. But they're definitely bringing that mentality that she wanted to this game.
Well, hey, Storty is back out, still battling here in the first half. Clearly, of course, just shaken up by taking that kind of impact. Howard now. The pass into the box. Calgary could make something happen here. They've done it before in extra time. In fact, right before the half as well, but that was a game in which they had the lead over Halifax. They're trying to cut this deficit in half. That would be such a gift heading in to the locker room. Solid throw in. Ottawa need to regain control. Friedland under pressure. Rapid winning the possession game so far as well. Scott to Harris. Harris running up the ball. Now Adamick. Looking to set up the attack here. 2:40 into added time. Adamick! Coming in, and that's closed out there. Rolfsma and Savitsky.
This is all from the great movement that is happening off the ball. First off, a little finesse behind this pass into Pridham with the outside of her foot from Harris. Adamek recognizes that, gets in. A bit of combination play there. She's not able to get the shot on frame, but that movement off the ball from Pridham, from Adamek, from Mina as well. There's a lot of space that's being created, and they're pulling Calgary from their shape and their structure. And in and around the 18, that's very dangerous. And that's one thing that Ottawa has always been very good at.
Stoppage time winding down, but Ottawa they'll keep taking the opportunities they given. They have spent plenty of time in Calgary's half. There's Storty again. She's known for her physicality, but how about her resilience in this moment? And that will do for the first half as the Ottawa Rapid have a 2-0 lead over Calgary Wild FC.
That was an exciting half. 2 goals. Who doesn't love a 2-goal half? Ottawa, I think, very much grew into that half. They were able at the beginning, you saw a bit more of an evenly matched up possession-wise game, I would say, but as that continued on, there was a lot more purpose behind their possession. They had great movement off the ball, great variety in their attack. Calgary needs to do better at exploiting Ottawa's mids. They need to move them from their structure. They need to take advantage of pulling out a Gibson, pulling out a Scott, because they're so solid in keeping their structure, and it becomes very difficult to break them down. So it's a matter of coming into this second half with a great mentality from Calgary and attempting to get one on frame.
Of course, we'll be keeping an eye on Grace Storty, who went down with injury late in the first half. Still ahead, the NSL halftime show and a major announcement for the Northern Super League. All about the final.
Greets the women's national team as they arrive in Toronto. In a few days, they will take on Costa Rica in celebration of Pride Month before another showdown against the U.S. in Washington, D.C. Matches against top opponents in friendlies and continental tournaments are of the utmost importance as the team builds towards qualification to the 2027 FIFA Women's World Cup. Match day in Toronto has arrived.
Hey, we're at home. We need to control the tempo. We should be dominating every minute of this game. Canada on three! 1, 2, 3! Canada! Here we go!
After some resolute defending, Costa Rica take the lead.
High ball for Zdarsky. That sums up what was a relatively frustrating first half for the Canadians.
Costa Rica do their best to slow the game down and protect their lead.
Briseño comes over to do her best bouncer impression. Leon took the first shot and she was not going to tolerate that.
But Canada find their way through the low block.
Shoots Hollywood with a screamer. Canada completely reverses the script. Zajavoshi. Regan will shoot. And Regan! Bar down beauty!
I think it's just a really big credit to everyone for sticking through this game and finding a way to win. But we have the best next. That's a way bigger test, and we have to start strong. Well done, everyone.
This is a big moment for the Northern Super League, and I'm joined by NSL founder and Chief Growth Officer Diana Matheson. This has been a groundbreaking season, but what can fans finally mark in their calendars today?
Well, we are announcing the inaugural NSL final, November 15th, 2 p.m. kickoff at BMO Field in Toronto. We couldn't be more excited, and we cannot wait to see Canadians from across the country there.
Well, it's going to be incredible for anyone back home that wants to go, that doesn't want to miss this moment. how can they get their hands on tickets?
As of today, it is pre-sale access. That's before regular access goes on sale on September 4th. So sign up now. We want this to be a celebration of women's sport, women's soccer in Toronto. Can't wait to have so many Canadians from across the country there and bring the spirit they've been bringing all season long in the stands.
And so for that pre-sale, fans can go to nsl.ca or they can scan the QR code on their screens. But joining us as well is Canadian Secretary of Sport Adam Van Couverden. Now, the government of Canada is supporting this event. Why was it such an important priority to be a part of this?
Well, it's a huge priority because an investment in sport is an investment in tourism. It's an investment in our collective health and our enthusiasm for Canadian athletes. And these women are amazing. I don't know if you've been watching the soccer over the last couple of months, but it's phenomenal and it's very, very exciting. And this investment, it's $180,000 that'll go towards the final. And an investment in women's sport is also an investment in equity and leveling the playing field. So it's an exciting time for women's professional sports in Canada. And the government of Canada couldn't be more excited to be involved.
Well, I do have to ask a question that can be a little bit controversial. Who do you think is going to be at BMO Field this November? What's your pick?
I'm not gonna to be the person that gets it wrong or frustrates fans out there that want to see their favorite fans or favorite teams playing. But I hope it's the teams that can sell out that stadium. I hope it's the teams with the best fans that want to either travel or show up at BMO in their colors. This is just an incredible product. So congratulations to Diana and your whole team. It's so fun to see a professional women's soccer final being planned here in Canada.
Well, no matter who's there in November, I want to see that stadium filled. I want this to sell out because it is such a historic year. The fact that there's no clear frontrunner, though, Diana, what does this say about the league and the competition that we've seen?
Yeah, that was built by design. It's a feature, not a bug. We want this to be one of the most competitive leagues in the world, top to bottom. There's no promotion relegation, and we've seen that on any day. Any team can win. The semifinal format is a home and away leg, and honestly, it's totally up in the air who could be those two last teams in the final.
Well, the road to the NSL Finals starts today, November 15th at BMO Field. You can sign up for the pre-sale now at nsl.ca. Diana, Secretary of State, thank you so much.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Welcome to the NSL Halftime Show presented by BMO, the official bank of the Northern Super League. Danielle Ponticelli with you alongside Jessica Lisi. Right now, Ottawa leads 2-0 over Calgary at McMahon Stadium. We'll save the date, Jess. Saturday, November 15th, BMO Field in Toronto.
Already in my calendar.
And that was a great announcement during last night's match that was in Toronto, played at York Lions Stadium. It was the battle of the two best in the league so far because, as we just heard, of course, parity is the name of the game. Competition, it has never been tighter. So you don't know who will be on that field, but how about this? Meet me here, Jess. Let's just go support whoever is playing in the inaugural NSL final. And right now, you can visit nsl.ca or scan this QR code on your screen. You can get pre-sale access because tickets go on sale September 4th. And while September seems far away, it really isn't. And that's a busy time for folks. So if you can get your tickets now, get them now. You don't want to miss it. Of course, November is the final date, and it really could be anybody. It could be the teams that we were calling today. It could be Ottawa v. Calgary in Toronto. Who knows? I'm sure Wild and Rapid fans are pretty excited at the thought of that. It always means so much. But right now, Ottawa is the better team, and the Rapid have had the most success in these matchups so far and got going early here, Jess.
Yeah, this is a team that if you let them build confidence, they will take advantage of it. And Harris does so well here to bring this ball down and get it back into the box. And you see the tenacity from this side. They're not giving up. They're winning that second ball. You're seeing it. Great delivery in. Rolfsma attempts to get this out. Scott doesn't allow that. And Belzile does everything to get there and strike that across her body into the far corner, giving Bukovic no chance of stopping that. They have come alive in this half. It was that first goal that really ignited it, but they're continuing to bring the dangerous attack, the lethal attack, and the variety that we know that they have to be able to cause problems.
Well, and Ottawa, beneficiaries of numerous corners in this game, and when you got the best goal scorer in the league in number 22, DB Brittam, you're going to see some magic happen. She's also so effective at making plays.
She's somebody that is alive on and off the ball. She makes things happen. You see that she's been able to contribute in sending crosses into the box, switching the point of attack, and then of course she's going to get on the end of it because she has to in DB Pridham's style. She times this so well. She gets up there and places that perfectly into the back of the net. No pressure on her. And then of course a fun little celebration to end it off. An exciting player to watch, and she's definitely going to come out hungry for some more in that second half.
Well, the stats tell an interesting tale because at about a quarter into this match, the possession was 50-50. You could see Ottawa really taking hold in the last half of the first half. There you go. Fouls as well. Calgary taking the brunt of that. And the corners, it's actually 5-0. And that helped Ottawa, right, with that second goal. Shots on target, very similar, but really has been the threat from the Rapid side, Jess.
They've been more purposeful, and that was something that Coach Peterson wanted heading into this game. She said that they needed more purpose behind their possession, and they also wanted to be in control when they weren't in possession. And that's what Calgary's lacking right now. They need to be more purposeful, to find the clinical edge that's needed, to do the little and simple things right, connect those passes, to be able to create the dangerous opportunities. And there hasn't been enough of that from their side. You can see they want it. They haven't given up. They're still coming at Ottawa. So I think we're in for an exciting second half.
And coming up, we'll have second half action. We'll also check in with Kate McKenna and Amy Walsh and their top 3 goal celebrations in the Northern Super League.
14 weeks worth of goals, but also 14 weeks worth of goal celebrations. And there have been some amazing ones. So, Amy, you're going to take us through your top 3 sellies of the season so far. The kids say that. I'm trying to say it with a straight face.
It was really good, but it's tough when you're over a certain age or in a certain demographic. But we're going to try it today.
We're going to try it. And listen, we're going to get to your top 3, but first we're starting with an honorable mention.
Yeah, really important, I think, here to underline the tribute to the late Diogo Jota, the Liverpool and Portuguese man, the number 20, who made this celebration iconic, and you saw it around the world. You saw it in the Club World Cup, and we saw it in our very own Northern Super League when Kaylee Hunter got on the board, went to the corner, sat down, and did that invisible controller in her hands, which Jota did, obviously. So those tributes were going, making the rounds in social media, and good to see it here in our own Northern Super League.
And sort of plugged us into the broader soccer conversation globally. So good for Kaylee Hunter, a real thoughtful celebration there. Okay, let's go to your number 3 celebration of the season so far. Who you got?
This one is underlined and punctuated by some incredible acrobatics by Tanya Boychuk. So she got the Roses' first ever goal versus AFC Toronto and looked like she wanted to do it, didn't have the space to do it. So it's a round off back tuck or a round off Boychuk. And I think she's made this, like, we started with Jota, it's an iconic celebration. I think we're seeing now individuals who are making them iconic in their own way.
That one felt instantly iconic and makes sense for her because she's a diver. She actually won 2 bronze at the Junior Pan Am, so she comes by the flip naturally. Okay, number 2.
Again, this is difficult, but things that are synonymous with the market that they're in, but also a nod to the Peregrine Falcon for the Ottawa Rapid is DB Pridham. So, I mean, immediately, this is our Golden Boot leader right now with 9 goals. And DB Pridham doesn't need very much of a window, doesn't need more than a half a step on a defender, and comes up with the DB. Like, that is the type of thing I wish I had in my locker as a player. Didn't have it, but she's got the initials, and she leans in heavy. I love it.
It's a superhero pose.
It is, and it should be noted, Desi Scott is encouraging the players for the Rapid to come up with more and more ingenious and kind of thoughtful celebrations, and DB Pridham is up to the task.
Good for Desi Scott. That's leadership right there. Okay, so we've seen some good ones.
Yeah.
Who's number 1?
Well, this is tough, but it's Maggie Doherty-Howard. And our friend Signa Butler was on the call, and she didn't miss a beat, calling out for Stampede Week. This was the theme of the game, and Maggie Doherty-Howard, this was her 2nd of the year, and you know that she's capable of not only leading the team in terms of dictating the tempo, dictating the quality on those set pieces, but also leading the Stampede, the line dance here. Yahoo, right, Kate? Or is it yeehaw? No, we decided it's Yahoo in Canada, right?
Thank you for giving me a chance to rectify my mistake. I said yeehaw. It is, in fact, Yahoo. It just proves that we need to take the show on the road and head to Calgary so I can get a real education. Anyway, here you go. Here are Amy's top 3 NSL celebrations so far. Some real originality, creativity. Amy, what are you hoping for celebration-wise the rest of the season?
I'm hoping for more originality, more celebrations that are showing the players' personalities, and I think there's more to come because there's lots of those in this league.
Oh my goodness! Latifa Abdu playing through Pridham! Now that's a finish!
Oh, off the post and in. It's the goal they've been waiting for.
That is a highlight we will see over and over and over again. That is absolutely world class. Oh my goodness.
Welcome back to NSL Soccer presented by BMO. We are all set for the second half. Ottawa with a 2-0 lead through the first. We have one substitution for the Rapid as in comes Stella Downing, number 98, as Florence Belzile, who opened scoring in the 14th minute. She heads off her first NSL goal and her first NSL start. Well done for 45 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well in for her to be able to not only come in, get her first start, but also make an impact and get that first goal, get them on the board. And she did everything to get there and did well to get that across her body, struck it well. There was just no chance there. Great finish from her. And now you shift focus and you see Stella Downing, somebody that is a spark plug for this team. She brings so much energy and is just going to continue to further ignite this Ottawa side. So this is where this Calgary side has to come up big and bring the right mentality.
Downing has a goal on the season as well. Calgary needing to regroup. They want to get back to their line dancing ways as we saw during the break. That was a great celebration last week. Stampede is wrapped up, but the energy of that in the city of Calgary, it doesn't go away, right? Summertime on the prairies.
I'm going to be honest, I'm still stuck on the poutine with the earthworm thing. that I would not, you couldn't pay me to try that. You couldn't. So kudos to all the girls that did.
You got to be brave, right? You've got to try something new. Ottawa getting to work in their half. Daniela Ponicelli, by the way, on the call alongside Jessica Lisi, former Canadian Youth International. You've covered so many of these matches so far in the early stages of this inaugural season, Jess, and you're seeing the players, the teams really develop, get their identity. Ottawa and Calgary certainly carving out their identities.
Absolutely. You see the growth from game to game, let alone when you compare the matches we were getting at the beginning of the season till now in the second half of the season. Every team has started to find their footing and really develop that identity that you mentioned, Daniela, and it's been exciting. You're seeing the matchups. You're obviously playing each other 5 times. That's a lot of times to play a team, but they've found a way so far to keep things interesting still.
Vukovic to Moore. Of course, that big celebration after the Vancouver win was made extra special for head coach Lydia Bedford, whose parents were in the stands. Parents all the way from the UK, of course. Her mom well enough after battling cancer to travel and be present. They're her biggest supporters. They're still in Calgary and they're in McMahon Stadium today watching on. Apparently her dad likes to send her messages post matches unless they don't, unless he knows not to. She said after their loss to Halifax, he didn't send her a note. Want to be supportive, but you also know that the losses can be tough, and it's time here for Calgary certainly to battle back. Liv Scott finds Fridlin. Now DB Pridham. She has a word there. Almost looks, that's not a good sight. Can't put much pressure there on her right leg.
It's like she might have just got caught up on the ball.
Allie Green with the throw in for Calgary.
You're seeing Calgary attempt to be on the same page in how they're defending. A hard push there by Holland and behind for Wilson. But you're seeing that mindset of wanting to step, but they have to be on the same page. Right now, you're seeing Ottawa break out and evade that pressure that's being applied to them, and they had no trouble coming up the field. It has to be better timed by Calgary.
Talk about the spark here. Downing, in through, it's a goal! Swift work by the Rapid, and talk about a timely substitution as Downing comes in here in the second half. It's a big goal for the Rapid. It's now 3-0.
Spark plug, that's the best way to describe her. She brings so much energy. She loves to drive at people, go 1v1, and Pridham's in the right spot at the right time. That's an unfortunate finish for Bukovic. Obviously thought she was able to get that one out, but Pridham is going to pounce, and she does exactly that. Gets it in the back of the net. She's not giving up on it. She's going to continue to bring that tenacious attitude that we know that she has. Super exciting for Downing to come in and make an impact right away. And also, Daniela, that was something that the last time these teams met, their subs and the depth that they have is what made the biggest difference.
So Downing and Pridham doing the work to draw some chaos is being recorded as an own goal by Calgary's Michaela Moore, and that one's got a sting extra. Of course, now down 3, but just trying to battle, trying to defend.
It showcases what happens when you apply the pressure and you're in the right areas, especially when you're that close to the net. It happens. It's hard to get that ball out. Pridham didn't give Moore any time or space. It's just a very unfortunate redirection into the back of the net.
That type of tenacity and grit from Downing, though, that is what the Rapid pride themselves on. It's moments like that, right, where you get rewarded for the decisions you make to bring a player in with fresh legs. Beautiful conditions in Calgary. Sunny, not too hot given that the prairies, well, they can be a little sweltering in the summer months, but comfortable 19 degrees with steady wind out of the northwest. In comes Ottawa once more, that time. Downing. Ottawa's quite curl the ball in.
Ottawa's continuing to bring that mentality where they're getting into the space and then they're getting out of it to create it for their teammates. You see Pridham lay that ball off to Mina, who's constantly floating in and out of those channels. You have Downing breaking the line to continue to get forward. Pridham spinning out. Numbers getting forward into the box. They're hungry and they want more. 3 is not enough for them.
We got corner number 6 for the Rapid, first of the second half. Already up 3. That one too far across. Thurton trying to challenge Desi Scott. Keeping it away. Ottawa does have the distinguished honor of the largest margin of victory so far in the Northern Super League. It was a 4-0 win over AFC Toronto. Another game that also made history because DB Pridham scored the league's first ever hat trick. Now this is still a very special match for Calgary as it's the return of Keeper's Corner. I love this initiative, Jess. It really helps get local kids in to watch games, and this will happen now throughout the rest of this inaugural season at every home match for Calgary Wild. So it's the Keepers, Sarah Kelty-Dilling, along with Bukovic and Jackie Burns. They're donating tickets to this initiative, and that'll get these kids into matches in Section W, officially designated Keeper's Corner today. Of course, the Wild would like to put on a bit of a show here for their home fans. There is Sarah Kelty-Dilling in the stands, and she's a local favorite, of course, hails from Calgary, has spent so much time. A former phys ed teacher here is on the pitch. Things are getting heated. Oh, Lee and Moore. You can bet the referee's not going to like that. Seems to be some frustration. Moore to Zavitsky. Allie Green getting to work. Brings it in. Middle of the field. Now Doherty Howard. Trying to create some space. Dagenet collects it out of the air, and good effort by Calgary.
They've found success when they move the ball quick and they pull Gibson out of that space. And Doherty Howard has done a great job at being able to occupy the channels and find the ball and spin and go forward and play those little combination plays that are causing the Ottawa midfield some problems. So they need to continue to do that. They need to move the ball faster. The movement off the ball needs to be there. Shift Ottawa out of their structure because they're a very organized team.
And then look at the work of Grace Storty, of course, going down late in the first half, having to be assessed there for what looked like a collision that went knee into her ribs. She's back out.
Well, that's a fun battle between Adamek and Storty. They're both players that will not back down from any battle. They're tough, they're strong, and they're very tenacious at that. So the mentality between those two is makes it for a very fun battle to watch.
Tough doesn't even seem like a tough enough word when describing those two. Now Friedland, Ottawa coming in. It's kept out that time. Kayla Moore, of course, you can imagine just trying to settle things down and frustrated.
We're seeing Pridham get to that once again, being the first one there, challenging. She's not going to make it easy for this Calgary back line to be able to clear balls, and Friedland has been phenomenal for them in that first half, as well as just leading into the second half of being active on that right flank and causing issues.
Friedland, seventh corner here for the Rapid. That one skied over. That has been another narrative that'll be one to discuss with these teams after the corners.
It's a good delivery in, and once again, Pridham gets her foot on it. She's not able to keep her body down and redirect it on frame, but she's getting there. And Ottawa continues to win those balls in the box.
Moore puts the pass up. Allie Green and Rolfsma. Two goals conceded in the first half for the home team, and then another in the second. Well, an own goal, rather, Michaela Moore. Ottawa will go from distance. Why not? Just keep the ball moving that direction.
Ottawa's doing well at reading when to step and when not to step, and it's allowing them to catch Calgary in transition quite a few times or have them make a mistake. That ball back to Bukovic, you saw she wasn't able to get control of it, and then Pridham's right there on her tail, not allowing her any time or space.
So Calgary still with one shot on target, that one from the first half. 3 so far for Ottawa, meaning they've been good on those shots when they can get them on target. 11 overall, so talk about just a steady threat facing Stephanie Bukovic, or in and around that area. What's fascinating is the narrative of the injury-plagued Calgary team. That certainly is a part of the story, but then once everyone's healthy, The idea then is that every game, every match will be theirs. And Jess, as a former player, you know that all depends on who you're meeting that day in the game plan. But this is a skilled Calgary side. They've just faced some adversity, especially in the last month.
Absolutely, and you have to make the best of it. There's not much you can do in that situation. You need players to step up. You need to be able to put a team out there that's going to compete, and I would absolutely say that Coach Bedford has done that.
Storty down once more. Was waiting for the whistle there. Saw her along the right flank go down. Number 2 in purple.
Looks like Downing might have caught her knee there a bit as she came through.
Oh, almost sitting on it. Took a while for that to be noticed. Captain having some words with her. All right, I'm not going to mention the word injury anymore on the broadcast. I'm just not going to talk about it. It's been tough, and I mean, Storty as well. When you're already sort of dealing with something potentially from that first half. So Jess, in terms of the pace, just to change direction slightly here, but in the second half so far, Ottawa with the goal, but what is your assessment just of how things have sort of been felt out in the early goings of the second half?
Well, you can see the hunger from Calgary. You definitely see that this is a team that's not going to go down without a fight. They've proven in the past that they are a very resilient side, so I expect them to continue to bring that caliber to the rest of this matchup and put one in the back of the net, potentially two. Maybe we see a tied 3-3 game. That would really be something. That would be quite exciting as a bystander and as a fan. But I just think overall that the mentality that we wanted to see from them, they have brought into the second half, and now it's a matter of being able to upkeep that to that final minute and continue to fight. And Ottawa, yes, absolutely, they're continuing to bring the fight, the energy, the intensity. Downing coming in, making an immediate impact. Pridham continuing to be dangerous and lethal and go at people and apply that pressure that's needed. So now it's a matter of who is going to be able to come out on top in the end, who's going to win this second half. Of course, Ottawa has that 3-0 advantage, but who's going to win this second half?
Crowd applauding as Storty back on her feet. How do you rally when you're down? I mean, we've seen Calgary have 3-0 leads on other teams that have crept up close, so it happens in this league, right? Competition is everything. We heard founder Diana Matheson speaking about it during last night's announcement about the final.
And it's a matter of having belief in not only your game plan, but also in each other, and looking over and knowing your teammates got your back and they're going to continue to bring it as well. And you match that energy all across the field, that unison and that fluidity will come. So it's that mentality that I keep mentioning, but Calgary is definitely a side that is capable of getting back into this game. There's still so much time left to be played.
Desi Scott coming in through. Ball goes off of Adamick there. It's Fridland, pardon me.
There does still need to be some cleaner touches and cleaner decision making for Calgary, I would say. Although the mentality is there and the intensity is there and they're bringing it, they have to clean some things up.
Well, this could be an opportunity. Maggie Doherty-Howard to set her team up, get them on the board. Solid delivery, header by Moore, directed out by Ottawa, still on the attack, the Wild. Sense of urgency is so real from Doherty-Howard. Wolfsma as well, hungry for that ball. But you can just feel it. It almost jumps off your screen when it comes to Calgary's captain. We do have a substitution for Ottawa as Nicola Golan will come in, and Desiree Scott will head out, doing her part for the Rapid. It was a comfortable lead at this time.
Golan's another player that's an exciting one to watch. She came into the mix late for Ottawa, but so far has stepped up and made such an impact. She's more of a forward type player, that winger, but she's been in that fullback role for them, and she's done so well at recognizing what needs to be done.
And she's done well coming off the bench. In fact, her first NSL goal was against Calgary in their 3-1 win, and she came in as a sub in the second half.
She's
to
crafty,
start the second half.
She's crafty. She's got the ability to use both feet and do it well, and that makes for a very dangerous player.
Friedland, Lee, kept out by Savitsky, winning that 1v1. Green. That's off of Adamick. Crowd has not let up. You can hear the drumming inside McMahon Stadium in the 65th minute. If you're just tuning in, you're watching the Northern Super League presented by BMO, the official bank of the NSL. Ottawa Rapid with the lead, wearing white. Calgary in their stunning purples. Color of ambition. Vukovic. To set her team up once more. Pridham just hanging around the penalty area. Friedland. She came in, she had plenty of space, it seemed, Jess.
And there's a reason that started. It's from that pressure from Pridham. It shows how difficult it is to be able to get that ball out comfortably when you have players applying that pressure. And Friedland does well to get this, but then isn't able to connect with it. And Rolsma does a good job at stepping in and clear it out. She absolutely could have struck that earlier, but she's able to win a corner kick off of it, so you take it.
Friedland delivers. A great grab by Vukovic. Just to thwart that. There we go.
I told you, words are hard sometimes.
Words are hard. Green to Savitsky. Calgary just trying to find a way out of their own half. For those who weren't here from the start, Calgary is without Kylie Johnson. There's 3 goals on the season already. Danielle Steer with 1 goal, 1 assist. They are on the bench, but they will not be seeing any playing minutes. In fact, Bedford telling us that they're there as for visual effect, because just you look like a full bench, you look like a healthy bench, but they knew they'd be playing short heading into this match. Possession, not quite what it was in the first half, certainly favored Ottawa more there, but still the Rapid 56.1%. You can hear the words from manager Bedford. Savitsky to Doherty Howard.
And Ottawa does a good job. They defend in a 4-4-2, which makes it very difficult to break, to find the spaces when you have a Pridham and a Mina running at you. They don't want to give Calgary any time and space on the ball, and we've seen them cough it up quite a few times, to cause some dangerous opportunities.
And you have what's essentially an Energizer Bunny in Stella Downing. Just incredible speed, and it just that energy. Jumping in, Thurton. Sends it back to Moore. Can Calgary find a way? That could have been, but there's the whistle. Madison Wilson was looking like she was in on her own.
Wilson needs to recognize that earlier, that she is offside. You have to be able to look around and have that awareness. But this is a great ball in from Rolfsema, and something that Calgary has to do better at in regards to playing more direct when it's on, because it is on at times, and they try to overcomplicate what decision they're going to make and play simple defeat, but that's not always on. Sometimes that direct ball over top is on, and Coach Bedford mentioned that is the mentality shift that they're trying to find. When the direct ball is on, play it, because you have players like Thurton, who was able to score a first ever NSL goal off of that exact opportunity.
Calgary finding themselves once more deep in their own area. Harris able to keep the ball, send it back into the attacking third. Friedland across the face of the goal.
Okay, thank you.
Pridham feeling that one. Of course, she's always amidst all the chaos. Picked up goal number 10 on the season. It's an incredible effort so far. Wolfsama with some incredible passes as well. That'll be a foul.
I'm not sure how she can argue that one. There was a clear push on the back, 2 hands from Holland on the back of Wilson. See it here again. Her arms extended.
Norwegian defender coming in there for Ottawa. Bukovic coming well out here to help out Rolfsema. Jordy Howard. And to get on the move, time is of the essence. Quick plays, looking for a solid strike. A goal to break through. Jordy Howard comes in, has the moves, but just swarmed by the Rapid.
I just want to go back to that play, Daniela, with Bukovic coming out. There's times to be brave and there's times to get rid of the ball, and that was not the time to be brave with
very risky.
Absolutely. You have to pick your moments as a goalkeeper. She's very high out of her net, and you have players like Pridham, and I'm not sure who else was on the other side of her, but they were closing in quick.
Bukovic the brave in that moment. And it has set up Calgary here if they can maintain possession. Green getting it up to Gray, and what a save again. Dagenet off the fingertips denies Calgary once more.
This ball movement is what needs to continue happening. There was great buildup before this, and then Gray gets this ball in. Wilson to come redirect that, but Dagenet coming up big again for this Ottawa side. That's twice now that she's kept it where there is no goals scored on her.
We have a corner for Calgary, something we have hardly said this match. Jordy Howard sends it in, and Dagenet once more. I mean, talk about a match so far for Melissa Dagenet coming in. And Michaela Moore calling in for a trainer. She was amidst all the action there, and it appears she may have clipped or at least made contact with Dagenet in the moment of the save.
Calgary cannot catch a break when it comes to their defenders.
Calgary will make some substitutions, but here's another look. Michaela Moore is in the goal area. And that was that look is even tougher to see. There was contact made just prior to the save. And
not sure if there was a bit of contact there from Dajne, maybe her knee when she was coming up to retrieve that ball. Moore was backing up into her, but a little hard to tell by that angle what had exactly went down.
Calgary, meanwhile, having some words along the sideline. There will be substitutions incoming for the Wild side. Bedford told us that last week, managing the legs is such a big part of this when you have that shortened bench.
Absolutely.
Jess, you and I were talking before this match, the fact you're kind of going back and playing some games, and you know what it's like when you're out there running.
I wouldn't really call it that, Daniela. It's something. We're just
playing some minutes.
Yeah.
There you go.
Let's say that.
But that's the thing, right? You look at these are pro players. They're used to this. They're trained for this. But this is a full season.
Yeah.
You're having to manage the way players are playing, and when you're in this grind of a shortened bench, it can be tough.
Well, especially, you look at these players, and a lot of them are playing huge minutes, and it's a long season. Some of them have gone away on international duty. There's a lot of travel in between. All of that takes a toll. Again, the season is long. There's a lot of travel. These games are not easy. It's hard to be training day in and day out. So that's where that depth aspect becomes so important, and we're seeing it here now with Calgary and the way they're struggling a little bit to be able to have players step in because of the shortened bench, as you mentioned. And then you have teams like Ottawa who have no problem looking to their bench and putting on players to start from game to game. It's different players. You're seeing subs make a difference. So it's definitely important to have that depth on your bench.
And there will be substitutions for Ottawa as well. We'll get to those in a second. Calgary making their substitutions as Stewart will go in for Christy Gray. Tegan Stewart certainly coming up. And Sonia O'Neill goes by Sonia, is in for Jacqueline Savitsky. Some timely changes. O'Neill scored the lone Calgary goal against Ottawa during their last meeting, which was a 3-1 final. Right now, Wild staring down, being shut out. So no substitutions yet for the Rapid. Expect some added stoppage time here to close out this match. Moore back out there, of course, resilient like so many of these players we've seen. Calgary would have wanted this home win, given that they'll be back on the road and they have one road victory under their belts this season. But that's the same for Ottawa. Ottawa right now looking potentially just their second away win on this first season.
Tegan Stewart's another player that's exciting and up and coming. So young, but so much talent.
And she got a touch on it to see if this develops and goes anywhere. Doherty Howard goes down, no foul. Thurton trying to work the ball with Sonia.
We're seeing Doherty Howard argue here. Robertson gets this ball across to her. Doesn't look like there's much contact on that. Doherty Howard prepared for that hit. You saw her position her body fall forward.
Well, now we see the Ottawa substitutions as Mina Lee leaves and Julia Benatti, number 6, will head out, and DB Pridham scores Ottawa's second goal of the match, her 10th on the season. Another look at this beautiful header to the top corner. My goodness.
She has so much quality every time she touches the ball. Even when she's not on the ball, she's making things happen. You love a good, fun celebration. All your teammates involved. You can see them all having a great time with it. You know they practice that time and time again. I would love to see that footage.
DB Pridham out and Jasmine Wilkinson stepping in. Calgary trying to come in. Sonia, no connection there. She's hoping to be that key difference off the bench. I talked about her being the one to score that lone goal against Ottawa. In fact, it's the only goal so far that Calgary has against the Rapids in the Northern Super League, as their first meeting was a scoreless draw.
Ladies, I need you on the bench, not on the chairs.
Dagenet to Downing. Close to center. Possession is key, and possession has gone Ottawa's way.
Seeing Ottawa comfortable with the ball, playing calm, cool, collected, playing around back when they don't need to go forward. That patience aspect that I mentioned before, that's something that Coach Peterson wants from them. She doesn't want them to force it at the first available opportunity. It has to be the correct one. So you're seeing that patience. Obviously, it's easy when you have a 3-0 lead.
It's situational. Football is key. How to hang on to those leads, how to make them stay, and so you can play comfortable. In the 80th minute now. What's more is that Ottawa, their next match is back at home, TD Place. That always feels good. They'll host the Halifax Tides, where Calgary, as mentioned, will head on the road. They do get a week break, and that will be necessary once more just to heal up, try to recover. Grace Storty will send it out past the end line. Storty, another story to watch, as she's really taken the brunt of some physical play.
You're also seeing how active Golan is, and she's been doing awesome since she stepped onto the pitch, finding the ball, moving into spaces, a bit of cheekiness there.
Yeah, number 15 in white. She's parked right out front of Bukovic.
You saw the cheekiness in the outside of the foot pass that has led to this corner, Downing making that run. And absolutely, now she's in the box, and she's going to cause problems with her height.
Beautiful delivery, it's up. Sent back the way it came, Friedland.
Great hustle by Tegan Stewart to not allow that cross.
So the corners are now 10-1 for Ottawa. The threat continues, of course. Collision will slow that down. That's Janaea Robertson. Just shaking that off. I mean, oh, that's such a big story here. Wilkinson as well, apparently taking some of that. Not a great sight. She just subbed on. She made her debut, by the way, in the Northern Super League in the last match, in that loss to Toronto. Now said to be part of a victory here. From Chicago, 23 years old. So how does Calgary finish this match? Come out strong if they can to set up for success. Third and quick with the throw, looking for Tegan Stewart. Rolfsma in since the beginning along with Storty. Wilkinson is just not having any of this. She's down along the center. Tough sight. Yes, she seemed to be favoring a knee earlier when we saw her.
Didn't see the collision when it happened, but it obviously was something that was quite hard.
Sometimes the scarier reality is a non-contact. It does appear that it may have happened during the action in the goal area. Peterson watching on.
You're seeing it here.
Top left of the screen there.
Not quite sure if it's the landing directly on the knee that's causing her issues. It looks like after the landing, she's not able to apply too much pressure. Bit of a closer look.
Could very well have been that landing. Immediately struggles to put weight on both legs evenly. It's coming so late in the match as well. Wilkinson having just subbed in for DB Pridham. Ottawa, of course, coming in with a game plan to simplify, be better than they were last week, and they got going early. 14th minute, this goal by Florence Belzile.
Yeah, you know, Ottawa's put up a great performance today. They found the clinical edge that they didn't have against Toronto, and they're building off of that. They're bringing energy. You're seeing all three of these goals coming off of some great moments for them. Downing coming into the match, bringing the energy, bringing that spark plug mentality that we mentioned in Yella, and automatically an own goal coming from it. But just great energy overall from this Ottawa side, and they're finding the clinical edge that's needed to put them 3 goals ahead right now.
Always a reminder that even if you don't start a match, you can be an incredible difference maker. We've seen that on the international stage recently with England as well. Doherty Howard will get this corner kick. It's the second of the match here for the Wild. Can they find a way? Get on the scoreboard. Harris, the great vertical. Doherty giving chase.
And the lack of set pieces as well, Daniela, is showing that Calgary's not necessarily playing their best style. They find a lot of success when they drive end line. They find players like Thurton or Gray or whoever is up there to really drive end line, get that ball back, and win corner kicks. They also thrive off set pieces. We've seen them score time and time again, whether it's a corner kick, whether it's a direct free kick from Doherty Howard. But overall, they're not winning enough set pieces, and that showcases that they need to bring more to be able to put themselves in positions to do so.
It's a fascinating match to watch in that capacity, to see how Calgary does when given very few opportunities, as you said, to execute on one of their strengths. As we know, growth can sometimes come, or does come rather, from the losses, sometimes more so than the wins. This is a team that their coach says is very reflective. Friedland to Adamek, now Friedland again trying to get in. Seems to have space there even in close. A lot to grow from here for this Calgary side. That time there's a call.
Seeing the work that Doherty Howard's been doing on both sides of the ball. She was there to shut down Adamek's attempt on goal. She's everywhere, whether it's in the attack or defensively. She is going to get a piece of it, and she's going to play a part.
She leads this team in scoring, 2 goals, 2 assists. She leads the team in minutes played coming into this one with 960, so well over 1,000 now in the Northern Super League. One of just 2 players, by the way, that has started in every match. This is the 12th match for Calgary. It's 1 fewer for Ottawa.
It's still way too easy for Ottawa to be able to get on the ball, look up, have time and space to make a decision. Calgary needs to step it up in regards to intensity in that regard, because you're looking at these players getting on the ball. Friedland's getting on the ball, and Green is really just sitting back, allowing her to look up, and she's able to find a midfielder and build out from there. So it has to be cleaned up. We've spoken about the intensity, the mentality. You have to finish the game off strong.
Branda Smith into the match here in the last minutes. More stoppage time to be determined, expecting at least several more minutes there, given some injuries early on.
She's a former teammate of mine, and she is a hardworking person if I've ever seen one. In training, she's always giving 100%, whether she was getting the start or she wasn't. She's super positive, so it's great to see her be able to get out there and get some minutes in.
She also came in the late stages of the match against Calgary. Back at TD Place now, Doherty Howard trying to come through. Solid tackle, no call. Calgary looking to repossess. Wilson just tracking the ball.
They're confidently moving this ball around. They're forcing Calgary to chase a little bit.
Absolutely. Doherty Howard and Wilson trying to stay up and capitalize on a mistake.
And that's exactly what happens when there is no timing to your press. You step up, you get bypassed by one pass, and your entire structure is broken apart. And that was something that Calgary has struggled with today, the timing and being on the same page of when to press and when to stay true to your structure. And Ottawa's done well to be able to break them down.
From a thrilling home victory just 1 week ago on this pitch to now down 3 and staring at another loss. I mean, it's still early in this season, but one of these teams knew coming out of this they would have a 5th victory on the season, which goes a long way. A win is 3 points in the standings, and everything is so close. In fact, these two teams tied at the moment with 14 points each. So this was a big match here for Calgary to really edge even closer, try to tick up towards where Montreal and Toronto are hanging out. Now both those squads up to 20-plus points. We'll have 5 minutes now of added time. Jess, this is really just how does Calgary finish strong, and also for Ottawa, how to just continue to stay calm and poised, knowing you've locked this down. Of course, that third goal, a painful one for Michaela Moore, is an own goal.
It's a matter of staying organized now for Ottawa, just holding it, staying comfortable with it, be calm when they're in possession, be patient, don't rush things, just keep it, make Calgary chase. And for Calgary, they need to move the ball quick, they need to have great movement off the ball, try to shift this very organized Ottawa side and very confident Ottawa side now with this 3-goal lead out of their structure. We know that since the first day that they stepped on the pitch, they've been dangerous and organized.
Sarita Thurton to Doherty Howard. Oh, and it's wide. That was the moment. It could have gotten past Melissa Dagenet.
This is the threat. They've always posed threats on the wide and on the flanks, You see Storty get that ball into Thurton, and Thurton looks up and she finds purpose behind the pass and picks out Doherty Howard, who's wide open. Those are the opportunities that they have to create more of to be able to capitalize on. Obviously, Doherty Howard not able to get that on frame, but she's in the perfect spot to do it.
You just have to think that Doherty Howard is going to want a redemption match as soon as possible. It doesn't even have to be against Ottawa, just another chance to show Calgary's strengths. As mentioned, they've been a bit of a streaky team this season, and it's still early.
And Coach Bedford mentioned to us that she felt that they needed to have a good team performance. They owed that to themselves, to their fans, because they have yet to do that and compete at their absolute best against Ottawa. And I wouldn't say that today they are showing us their best. And of course, there's injuries that are taken into account, and all of the trials and tribulations that you face throughout a season. Calgary is definitely in the worst of it. We've seen them deal with a little bit more than some other teams, but I would not say this is their best performance. It's not a complete performance. They're slacking on both sides of the ball a little bit. The intensity's there, they're bringing it, but they're not all on the same page when it comes to applying that pressure, or when to stay, when to apply. And offensively, they're missing that clinical edge that's needed. The little things are letting them down, the clean pass, the decision making.
Well, if the score stands for Calgary, this will be the 4th time they've been shut out. Once it was a draw where they were unable to score any goals against Ottawa at McMahon Stadium. 2 other times losses. Wolfsamo with quick touch, and on the other side for Ottawa, they just came off of being shut out 3-0 to Toronto, and here they are enjoying the outcome, a very favorable score for the Rapid. Doherty Howard had a wonderful, great late game effort here. We just saw Tegan Stewart, a late substitution to Allie Green.
Julia Bonatti showing some patience again. It's a great switch ball to Downing, who's driving forward.
Downey now. He's a back goal in. Bonatti, patient. She puts it in. I mean, why not? Dangerous threat, even late, so late in the game.
You're seeing that 1v1 battle. It's too easy from Wilson. There is multiple chances for her to be able to dive in there and take the ball away from Bonatti, who's inside her 18-yard box. It has to be better. The intensity has to be there. The grit to put your body on the line and clear it out. Bonatti had her running in a circle.
Doherty Howard pushed it forward for Sarita Thurton. A game that just did not go the Wild's way. At home, the Rapid tame the Wild in Calgary. 3-0 the final. 5th victory of the season for Ottawa, their 2nd over Calgary. A tough loss for the home side. But what a way to bounce back, given that this was the score on the losing end for Ottawa just 10 days ago.
Ottawa was the better team today. They deserved this win. At the beginning of the matchup, Daniela, we spoke about how it was quite even. They were able to create chances, but there was also Calgary coming at them with intensity. And I thought that Calgary brought intensity at moments, but it wasn't consistent enough, and they didn't have the clinical edge that was needed. There was more purpose behind Ottawa's movement off the ball. When they didn't have the ball, they were very well organized and they wanted it. You saw that mentality switch on from the very first minute, and obviously they were able to get the ball in the back of the net 3 times, which absolutely helps.
So the first goal of the match comes as the first goal of the season of her career for Florence Belzile in the 14th minute.
This is a big moment for her, and it's great for not only her, but also Ottawa to be able to get on the board early. Great team goal overall. The delivery was perfect here. Pridham getting up there to be able to get herself on the board again. As we know, she's a player that continues to do that. And then Downing comes in, total spark plug, brings her energy, drives forward. Pridham does well to apply that pressure to Moore, and it ends up deflecting off of her and going into the back of the net.
And there's your snapshot of final stats, and check it out. Shots on target, fairly low for either side. Of course, Ottawa able to capitalize there with 3-2. Total shots, my goodness, that shows the story, Jess. We talked about it, the possession as well. Really favored Ottawa from the jump. The fouls to Calgary, they'll need to clean it up.
I thought in that second half, Calgary did step it up in the sense of with their possession, we saw them create a little bit more. Again, they needed to clean things up. It was the simple passes. It was the ability to get the ball in the box and actually hit the frame. 8 shots, only 2 of them on target. And when you look at Ottawa, 14 total shots, that did tell the story, but only 3 of those were on target. So they had the clinical edge when it was needed, but I would say that they also needed to have it on a more consistent basis. But 3 goals, 3-0 win, you walk away happy from that one.
And how about those corners, 10-2? Of course, this was the first match of a Saturday doubleheader in the Northern Super League. That's right, the action doesn't stop because this game is just underway now. Halifax and Vancouver. Signa Butler on the call. You can tune in CBC Gem and NSL.ca as that is just underway. Still no goals yet. Could be soon, though. Thanks for joining us for NSL Soccer, presented by BMO, the official bank of the Northern Super League. A tough loss for Calgary. Echo will maybe have some words with the team there as Ottawa breaks through with a 3-0 final. On behalf of Jessica Lisi, our director Mike Alderson, and Jack Savriches and the Northern Super League, I'm Daniela Ponticelli. Good night and see you soon.